All right, what is up, everybody? Shao Scout 0013 here coming in with another video. We're going to talk about tournaments, and we're going to talk about the different experiences that Canadian Bear and Nick Nackety had at PAX and at an LVO qualifier in Florida. So we're going to get to hear a lot about the Florida lists and a lot about the top lists at PAX, as well as, like I said, their experience. So yeah, this is going to be a fun one. I think you guys will enjoy it. We kind of ask a few questions about the different lists that either they encountered or their own. So I think this should be a good one. I just wanted to mention again that the giveaway for Christmas is going on. And so all you have to do is leave a comment and be a subscriber. And that is just specifically for YouTube. The giveaway is going to be the Essentials kit and some standing orders cards, as well as a holographic Dooku card. And then I'll give away a separate Discord giveaway for Christmas. And so all you have to do is just come on over here to join the Discord and become a person member. Yeah, it's free, easy. And then the easiest way to do that is to start talking. And what you'll do is I'll come on over here to the server level, and if you've already started talking, then I'll basically do this. I'm going to go all the way for, I think, I'm debating if I should do the entire year or not. If you guys have a comment on that, just go ahead and let me know. But yeah, feel free to head on over here. If you got questions on lists for Republic or CIS, Masterbot, Emperor Atlantis are big time in here talking a lot about the different lists going on. And then Rebels, if you've got stuff with Rebels, feel free to post them on in here. Empire, if you've got Legion battle reports, feel free to post them in here. It's really cool to see, everyone post the different stuff. It's great to watch and learn from different players, and so that's why I encourage the battle reports in here, and I enjoy watching them myself. So yeah, feel free to head on over there. You can also head on over to the Clan of Shadows Patreon. This kind of just helps grow the channel and do giveaways and stuff. So if you're interested in that, feel free to kind of get in. You get stuff early, and so yeah, head on over there. But other than that, hopefully you guys will enjoy the video coming out today. All right, what is up, everybody? So Shao Scout 0013 here, coming in with Graeme, Canadian Bear, and Nick Nackety.
Hello, everyone.
And today we're going to go over kind of like the tournament life and stuff that they've seen recently at their tournaments, specifically at PAX and a fall LVO qualifier in Florida. So there's a ton of Florida guys there, so I'm excited to kind of talk about that. And yeah, so both of you just finished this past weekend. Actually, was the tournament in Tampa?
Yeah, Tampa. CHG Critical Hit Games in Tampa. It's technically St. Pete's, but we all say Tampa.
Okay. And then the other one was PAX Unplugged. I know that you just kind of finished with, I know it was like, 2 weeks ago, I think?
Was it 2 weeks ago? No, last weekend.
Last weekend. Oh, okay, that's right.
Yeah.
And I know that you guys, if you want to talk about the lists that y'all brought when we talk about it, and maybe some of the players that you went up against, maybe how those games went, kind of what you what you played up against, maybe what you expect to see at more tournaments ahead, and or what you maybe think is on the forefront of what people are trying to take, and maybe what you, if you want, we can even later on go into predictions of maybe what might be at Worlds. But I know that you have a lot of armor and a lot of other stuff to discuss from PAX. So Graeme, if you want to go ahead and take it away, we can go ahead and talk about that.
So I know it's been said before about PAX this year, but I haven't met anyone that remembers seeing a top 8 that was 2 of each faction in the top 8, except for Shadow Collective, who, still did decently. There was only one Shadow Collective player, and they were 2-2. So, yeah.
I feel like Shadow Collective needs some help.
Yeah, I didn't look at their list even, but I know they've been running it for a while, but that was, oh, well, there you go, you'll like them. It was
Ooh.
Gar Saxon, and they had 2 units of commandos and swoop bikes, and then Pike Spam.
Ooh, nice.
Okay. Yeah, I'm liking it already. Okay.
Oh yeah, it's a good one. It was, definitely smaller than last year, but still a lot of fun. Um, and it was it from what I've heard of Texas, this probably felt more like a Texas tournament than a regular PAX, because there was a lot of armor. I did decently well because, well, in second place you had triple ATST Tempest, and in uh, fifth you had double Saber triple ATRT.
Oh,
I'm,
really?
I'm
I've never
pretty
heard of
sure
that
I
one.
saw him play this last year. Because when I saw the Saber tanks, they looked familiar. But yeah, that so much. Um, the overall winner went to Nick Bodnar, so he was. We love you, Nick, but you were hiding behind running tournaments, and now you come out from behind the the curtain and you smack us all down again.
Hey, I
Uh,
mean, I
yeah.
feel like that's his. Is that his thing? Kind of like to smack everyone down.
I mean, that's what happens when you bring Leia with improv and scanner, Han with up close and e gear, Bad Batch with Omega, Sabine with up close and the grappling line, 2 shotgun rebel troopers, 1 naked rebel trooper, 2 laser cannon ATRTs, and 3 sleeper cells with up close and astromechs.
That's brutal. The sleeper cell with up close are amazing.
Yes, yes, they are.
And how many dodges do they generate? Because if they're getting a dodge token with the astromech when they're at range 1 of a POI, and
Yeah,
then
when
they
they
take a
finish a move
shot.
at range 1. Yeah.
So
So,
so they can make a move, gain a dodge, and then take a shot, gain a dodge, or they can double move and get 2 dodges possibly after ending or cohering to a range 1. So I feel like they're always having 2 dodges minimum.
and then
Turn
they've got
one, they
nimble.
get 3. Sometimes, depending on the
Yeah,
deployment, they can get 3 in the turn 1, which is
Oh
pretty
yeah.
nuts.
and then they've got nimble. So once they have it, they always have it.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have nimble too, right?
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's yeah.
They're good.
They do a lot. um, Not that it mattered for any list here, but we were playing without the erratas because they happened on Friday, and we started Saturday, so no one would have a chance to fix their lists or whatnot if they had been. But I don't think there was anyone because it was the Rebel personnel upgrades was the main thing, and there was something else in the errata change that I don't remember.
The overrun for sure,
Overall,
and
so it would
then
have mattered at the very least for Jason, but for the Shadow Collective list, but that would maybe be it. But again, it's not like he was going there expecting it. So yeah.
okay.
Um,
So how did your games go?
uh, I had to submarine. um, so I ended up going 3-1, but I started very very down. The first game was a good opponent. It was a lot of peekaboo shenanigans. I should say I was playing 117 wound Wookiees. So
Yeah.
Chewie with C's, and then 6 melee Wookiees with shield. 2 had impact grenades, 2 had smoke grenades, and then 3 shooty Wookiees with bowcasters and targeting scopes. And it is, yes, so 117 wounds. And I was going up against some, he called it Dooku and Kalani's very special forces because he was using the detachment rules to get 5 special forces, but not exactly how people probably think. It was strike team, and then obviously the full one. The strike team had the sniper, full commando had the SAB, transponder, vibra swords. And then he had 2 Magna Guards, one with an extra Magna Guard, one with the whip. And then he had brought the probe droids because he brought Maul. Maul was going with saber throw, burst of speed, tenacity into the fray, and then Dooku was leading the army with choke, push, burst, and tactics. Kalani's naked, but Kalani's got exemplar, so who needs upgrades? And then 3 B1s, 2 were naked, 1 had a medical droid. So yeah, it was a lot of peekaboo shenanigans. We were playing Breakthrough, and what was it? It was Breakthrough, Surface Scan. I had Fortified, he had Ordnance, and I threw a ton of dice, or I tried to. I thought I had placed a unit far enough away, but he was able to burst to speed and run Dooku in and stop me from scoring my save point, and was able to force push a unit in so that he was bubble wrapped, and because he pushed them, he could place them on all corners, or corners of his base, so nothing else could touch them. And I passed cover, dodges, and backup. Dooku and Maul collectively had to roll for about 20 saves, and collectively they took 1 wound on Dooku, and Maul took a wound from his command card. So it did not go
That's
well.
rough. Yeah. All that dice. Especially
Yeah.
from Wookiees.
Yep. So yeah, it's, I think in that game, what was it? It was pretty close in kill points. So it was, he had killed 202 and I had killed 197. But I think that was his full commando, his strike team, and the probe droids were all that I killed. And then I think he would have then killed 2 Wookiee units. It must have been 2 melee squads. So,
Did he
yeah.
use direct from Dooku onto Maul or anything?
If it wasn't onto Maul, it was onto the B1s around him, and then, oh no, yeah, it was, yeah, it's either his command cards covered him or Dooku and Maul, and then the B1 chaining took care of all the B1s, and his bag, except for 1 round, was only special forces.
Now, is Dooku,
So,
I guess, a lot scarier to go up against?
um, surging block 6 wounds is a lot. With immune pierce and when he can do his Makashi shenanigans. Um,
He's
so
good.
yeah, he's good. I was really surprised that he was able to burst and catch my guys out because was so I thought I was well and beyond far enough away that I wouldn't have to worry about anything outside of like a range 3 shot or like a move up and a range 2 shot. So that really caught me off guard and just kind of derailed me. But that game was, we only got halfway through turn 3, so it was a pretty slow game.
Ah,
Um, yeah, and let's see. So then round 2, I'm starting to come back out from the depths. And I was playing against Pat, or on Longshanks. He is Palco, but he's uh, he's Pat, one of our locals here in Jersey. He was running. Let's see. It was Anakin with Burst, Push, Into the Fray, Tenacity, 4 Infantry with C6s, 3 Clone Captain Arcs, and 2 Commandos that had HQ uplink. And we were doing intercept, mark targets. I had fortified. You'll notice a trend. I kept getting stuck with fortified. And cunning for Pat. And it was. I think that game we finished turn 3. I don't think we got to turn. Oh no, I think we did actually get to turn 4, but it was just a low scoring game. It was 5-4 in my favor. Unfortunately for Pat, he forgot or missed a couple triggers with Anakin with Tempted.
that's rough.
So yeah, but on the far side, my Wookiee bowcasters were able to just keep shooting, and we're just taking arcs off the table back to back, and give my Wookiees enough time to run in and claimed the more of the mark targets. There's a funny picture where one of the pictures that shows a smoke token in between one of my Wookiee squads and the 4 clone infantry. I think at that point it still was. If not, it was 3 clone infantry and Anakin. And that somehow granted me heavy cover from all the incoming shots.
God.
And it was so funny. We had to call Brendan over, who was the TO for this event, and we had half of the Legion section just laughing like and just cheering for like it's a good smoke token.
Finally, you get one of them. Like it's finally a chance to utilize such a
I
token.
actually use them pretty frequently in almost every game, which yeah was kind of like, oh, this is hooray! I can do something.
So, question: did you actually roll blocks on your heavy cover saves, or did they blank?
My outside of the first game again, because the first game, what little attack or what attack dice did get through did nothing pretty much. But when
Nice.
attack dice came at me, I did nothing. I think I rolled 5 saves.
Ooh. Oh no.
And then I'd say my dice kind of went back to average for the rest of my games, which was like, okay, I'm losing Wookiees, but I'm not hemorrhaging Wookiees.
Is there much of
Um,
a difference?
um, when you stop losing 9 wounds in a shot, then yes. It feels fantastic when you don't have 3 Wookiees just disappear.
Oh,
um, so, uh, going on to game 3, uh, continuing to rise, and this time we're going against good old JJ. I love JJ. He's the whole reason why my wife and I have been coming down to Crucible the past 2 years. And JJ was one my last opponents, or my second last opponent at the first PAX I went to.
Oh,
So,
wow.
really happy to get to play another game with him.
I hear he was the Yoda guru.
He, yeah, that year he was doing, I want to say Yoda, Chewie, and like 2 units of Shooty Wookiees, because this was before even the Exemplar nerf with standby tokens. And I don't remember what else was in his list at this point, but then would have had to have been at least phase ones or phase twos. And that one, I was kind of, I was doing what I could just to stay to like try things out, and it was I think I did Padme, Anakin, and then a whole bunch of other stuff. I had like triple barks, but I was using Exemplar for the standbys because it was kind of like it's only 2 units, so it was just kind of fun. It's like, oh, like where's the trap gonna happen? It's kind of like the shell game. Um, but yeah, JJ bent me over in that first game that we played, and this time I got to get up on him, so that was a lot of fun. JJ, we're talking about melting Wookiees. JJ melted 2 of my Wookiee units with his list. He had Rex with Recon, because you gotta, Cody with Improv, Bad Batch, Jumbo Fives with the DP-23, so the shotgun, 2 infantry with medics, 2 HQ commandos, and in my case, the dreaded ISP with beam cannon and link targeting array. Because turn one,
Okay.
he killed an entire Wookiee squad primarily off of beam, and he brought another Wookiee squad down to 2 wounds.
Wait,
Primarily off of beam because
off a
off of
beam?
beam attacks. Yep.
How?
Um, it's oh gosh, what is the
Is it 2 red, 2 white?
let's see, I don't even remember. Beam cannon, yeah, 2 red, 2 white. Um, but it surged to hit, and he would often have an aim from target, and then would have an aim um, in most of the other turns for just taking aim and then shooting. So after turn one, he'd always have 2 aims. And he also played the clone 2-pip, so he had the beam attack coming in from Cody with his surge crit. So turn one, he is already scoring our secondary, which was the sweep and clear. So turn one, when you normally can't score points, I'm already down a point.
Oh my god.
But thankfully, from timing of whatnot of when he had to pull Cody, I still had 2 units of because I think he gave the order to Rex, if I remember correctly. I'm probably remembering wrong. And he might have just gone with Cody because he thought he had good targets, which he did. Um, I had 2 full healthy units of Wookiees who just went straight offensive mode and charged forward with 2 speed 2 moves.
Okay.
And my primary mission was ignore everything else and kill the 5 squad. Do not let that thing exist.
Yeah, that's how many dice is that again? 13?
It is 13 black at range 3 and 12 black, 2 red, pierce 1 at range 2 and melee.
It's brutal.
Yep. So most of my Wookiees were on one side, and then I had 3 squads that were slightly on the other side but weren't starting on the my safe objective point. Um, so that they could kind of use some line of sight blockers to run down the middle of the board. Um, but that game ended turn 4 at the end of turn 4, but it was 12-5 in my favor
Jeez.
because I was able to score the enemy territory kill on turn 2, I think. Yeah, turn 2, and then
Turn 2.
uh,
Wow.
yeah, because it was we were doing breakthrough,
Oh, okay.
Okay.
and yeah, I didn't say that, I think, but breakthrough, and they charged into a commando squad. And melee Wookiees like your commandos in melee. Your surging block means nothing with my peers.
Yep. That'll do it.
And then Bad Batch was being obnoxious. And his poor hunter dice, I don't think he rolled a wound. And there were several times where he was engaged with a Wookiee on one wound and he just needed to hunter it so he could move and shoot something else. So,
Oof. That's
yeah,
rough.
yeah.
I feel like some games you get it, and then some games it's completely worthless.
Yeah, it's usually he'll roll bad all day or he'll roll great all day. It's
Yep.
like one or the other. You're like,
There is no middle ground.
no.
And then my last game, because I had to drop round, or I opted to drop round 5, so I could spend the majority of Sunday with my wife, just going around the con. We demoed some games. But round 4 was against Jordan, Luminous Gaming. I finally don't have Fortified. We
Hey.
both had Cunning, so we both got the dodges. Um, and then we were doing Intercept and Recon, and Jordan was running. Once it loads, he was running Han with Underworld connections, up close and personal, and environmental gear. He had Op Luke with Burst, Mind Trick, Reflexes, and Tenacity. He had Bad Batch with Omega, Rebel Trooper with the XX or the shotgun, Rebel Trooper with the Z6, a terrifying shotgun super squad of fleets. um, and then Ewok slingers. We'll get back to those stupid bears. um, a mech, Pathfinders with Piston, transponder, and of course their config, and 2 laser cannon ATRTs. So yeah, that's your rebel soup, and you know how we were talking about. It feels great when you don't lose 3 Wookiee models. Shotgun fleets, Super Squad, they do that. They kill 3 Wookiees in a shot.
How? Those
Because he
white
was
dice.
they're surging hit, and it's 2 red also.
White dice aren't as bad as they seem. Like Bistan paths teach you that too, because
Yes.
like they hit more often than you'd think when they're surging, at least, because it's 3/8 of a chance. And when you're throwing, what is it, fleets that have like, what is it, 18 white dice, 2 red?
Yeah,
You're
so
you're
it's
getting a lot.
8 for the base squad, 10 for the jumbo, so that's 18, and yeah, 2 red for the shotgun.
Yep.
So it is
Yeah.
20 dice.
Yeah,
Okay,
20
I guess with
dice.
yeah, I guess with 20 dice, you're bound to get something.
Yeah.
He said he was averaging, I want to say between, including the 2 red, he was averaging on their dice pool when they're healthy to, I want to say 7 to 13. As, and it was just like that was kind of what it stayed between. It was like every once in a while it was a little bit lower than 7, every once in a while maybe it's a little bit higher, but it stuck typically between 7 and 13.
That's
And that
so.
has Pierce 1, and it is terrifying once you get shot once.
Yeah. Okay. All
Uh,
right. Well,
yep.
that is one way to get
Uh,
9 wounds on a non-surging unit.
yep. I think I even rolled a block on that one too. And it got.
Here's
Um, and yeah, and so Ewok slingers. How many points are they? Because we need to talk about this
They're
real quick.
35. They're 35.
They are
Nice.
35 points. And a Wookiee Warrior squad with the battle shield is 95 points. So it is. It's not exactly one for one, but almost a single Wookiee model is the entire Ewok squad.
And they're
And
throwing,
turn two, they killed a Wookiee model. It's like, hey, we made our points. We
yeah,
don't care
because
what happens now.
they're throwing what, 6 or more
Yeah,
black
6 black.
dice?
6. Range
With a
2.
surge.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so
Well,
yeah,
Ewoks seem to do pretty well damage output wise, but if
I
you
mean,
get a really good shot into them with no cover, I feel like it's gonna melt them just as much.
yeah. Unfortunately, my no cover involves 7 white dice and a red, so I can use my sharpshooter, and that is normally around like 3 to 4. So it will at least take 2 shots. Um, but yeah, um, this game was very close. I think Jordan would agree that it pretty much came down to he didn't realize that Recon has a secondary means of scoring to where if you are or capturing or contesting a dropped opponent's token with a unit that has your token, you score 2 bonus points. Um, so turn 3, I scored uh, 3 points on the secondary and then 1 from the primary, and that was able to jump me ahead. Um, we had maybe like 5 minutes before 15 minutes was called, so we almost got to turn 5. Um, and it would have been very interesting to see how that game could have gone. It very well could have gone either way. Because my one side had almost completely collapsed, and it would have just been my guys holding my scanner running away to try to toss it to someone else when they inevitably died.
It's like a game of
It
hot
would have
potato.
come, yeah, pretty much, and yeah. So yeah, no, but it was a great time. I'm curious how it would have come out had I stayed in it for the last round. Um, but I'm pretty happy with going uh, 3-1 after losing the first game and ending 15th overall and only getting 4 rounds. So yeah,
Yeah. I've got 2 questions then for you, real quick.
go for it.
So you played against a Rebel Bad Batch and a Republic Bad Batch.
Yep.
Which one? Okay, so do you find Bad Batch to be a terrifying unit, and or do you have a like one that is scarier than the other, like Republic or Rebels? Is there one that you feel like is worse? You feel like they're both equally bad? Do you feel like they're not bad at all to go up against?
Well, we can thank Nick here for my hatred for Rebel Bad Batch, mainly Omega.
Range 1,
Because
baby. It's so good.
that thing is dumb and should be melted down and started over.
He hates it because I was doing peekaboos from behind a wall while being completely safe, and he couldn't shoot Bad Batch the whole game.
Uh-huh.
Would just
And
pop out, go behind the wall, and then Han would finish whatever they wounded. It was great.
and he
For
could
me.
contest it behind line of sight blocking cover, so it's like I couldn't. There was nothing I could do.
Yep.
So,
That's rough.
Yeah. And I'd always pop out to where there was like no cover, so it was pretty cool. But
yeah, for the
Yeah.
amount of things that require line of sight, the fact that Tempted and Omega do not require line of sight is dumb.
I think
well, she just runs out there all by herself. She sneaks around, That's what she does.
I would love it if my Wookiees could actively punt Omega. um, So,
She's pretty small.
yes. So, I guess to go back to your question, I hate Rebel Bad Batch more,
You're welcome.
but offensively, I guess I would dislike um, the clone version more, or the Republic version more. It's just with the game that I had with JJ, they weren't really able to perform, not just because of the Hunter Dice flopping, but because I was able to either get them into melee or be engaged or behind line of sight block and cover with other units. They never really got to get great shots into me. Or if they did get shots into me, I only had like 2 to 4 wounds left on the unit anyways. So it didn't feel terrible to lose what was left.
That's rough for JJ then.
Yeah.
Yeah, that if they get into melee, they're pretty bad. The Republic ones.
Yeah, they'd be fine into like even the Ewoks more than the Wookiees.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Do you think
Yeah.
that maybe they should have versatile on maybe Omega and or Crosshair?
It's an interesting question. Crosshair, I could
Because
see.
I don't see Omega doing a bunch of punching, and I see them trying
She,
to probably protect her
yeah,
as she keeps shooting, and then the other one is like, Crosshair might go off on his own and keep shooting while the other's in melee. But I mean, obviously he's with them the whole time, so I don't know, just maybe
So
something.
I would be okay with Omega if she lost her ability to contribute to melee. If she could shoot out then, I wouldn't have an issue. But I think I'm kind of surprised, I guess, specifically with Crosshair, that they didn't do some kind of weird token shenanigans because that like his whole gimmick in the show is like I'm gonna toss out these mirrors and bounce my laser bolts off of these mirrors.
yep.
Yeah,
Um, and that kind of feels like that would have been a really cool design space, even though it would have been like super complicated. But again, it's only one dice, and then it's like, oh, you're shooting around the corners. Oh no.
what if he had
um,
like a free observe 1, like range 2?
that would be interesting because at the very least for clones, just so that you can be really cool seeing him pair up with Cody because now it's going back to the Bad Batch show too.
Yeah, I think the reason that he doesn't do that is they tended to make them a little more like individualistic, the Bad Batch, so they don't like give other people tokens because they wanted them to feel like they're really different. And I do like that. I respect it. I think a like a mirror token would be kind of cool though. Like if he could drop one somewhere, that'd be neat. I'd like that.
Yeah, maybe instead of an observation token, it's like a mirror
Yeah.
token that is only for them.
Yeah.
And it's only for his die.
Hmm.
Because
Cause
that'd
like
be
I
cool.
do.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, he drops down to like if he makes a shot, it goes to range 3 or something like that. But he can shoot around corners now with a single die. It's like, hey, that'd be really cool. I don't know how many
Yep.
people would use it, but I'm sure it would come in handy every once in a while.
Somebody runs a
Yeah,
rebel trooper behind something, you can pop it. That would I could see use for it.
I mean, I guess I'm more surprised that's not in Shatterpoint. That game's all about gimmicks.
Oh, true.
But yeah, um,
and then PAX, it was a con, and so
yep.
just I'm sure that it was fun to be able to get to spend time with your wife, kind of going around and play games and stuff. Was there anything just interesting? Because I know that there's probably a few other people that are interested in PAX, maybe even next year. If they don't know anything about it, maybe there's like something, and then we'll get to Nick.
Yeah. And so PAX was apparently at their pre-COVID numbers this year, which was around 30,000 people.
That's
So
bigger than I thought.
yeah, it's pretty big. And it was I think, like, talking to most people, there's something kind of weird this year. No one could put a finger on it, but it felt off. And maybe it was just because it was back to pre-COVID numbers, and we were used to having just a little bit more breathing room for the past few years. And my wife's and I's only experience has been since COVID. And yeah, but like there's lots of demos going on. There's lots of like tournaments going on for my fellow Canadians. There's a crocodile tournament going on in PAX, which is a lot of fun. That's a whole other thing. It's I will have to explain that some other time for you guys.
Explain it in Canadian at some point. Yeah.
To go ask my mom.
Oh no.
And yeah, I was able to get the Star Wars Unlimited con exclusive. I got one of those boxes, which was really cool. But get ready if you're going to PAX. If you want to get there when it opens in the day, get there early and get ready to sit in the cattle pens, as we call them, because that's essentially what it feels like. They have 6 rows of probably, I want to say they're 7 feet wide, and they try to pack them as much as they can, and then they let it out one by one. So when the expo hall opens at 10 a.m., they can let everybody out with those. And then I found out later they actually have also a gaming hall one that opens up at 9, so you can get to your tournaments earlier. But yeah. So you meet a lot of people on those lines.
That's kind of cool, though.
Yeah, just make sure you shower before you go on those lines, please.
Yeah, please. And wear deodorant.
Yes. I guess that's the nice thing in that it's Philly in the winter, in December, so it's not too bad. It's normally later in the day when everyone's been moving around for a while. It's like, there's a couple people.
Can you imagine Florida, like Crucible with 30,000 people? Oh.
I love how good the AC is at Crucible.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's actually pretty
yeah,
nice.
no, there's some great games that we got to try out. We tried out a couple Lord of the Rings games and was able to get one of them. One was, if you're familiar with Seven Wonders Duel, there's the new Lord of the Rings one that has improved on a lot of the mechanics there, and changed them up. Then there's also a new Lord of the Rings trick game where you have to play as like the different characters per chapter in the story of the Fellowship, pretty much, and like each character has different requirements in order to get their victory condition, but it's different from normal card trick games. It's a cooperative one instead of a competitive one, so you're all trying to make sure that everybody completes their objective. So it's we failed our trial because I was playing Frodo and I screwed up and I won one too many tricks. So that meant that one of our characters wasn't able to meet their requirement, and unfortunately, Frodo held onto the ring for too long.
Oh no, and he went crazy.
Yeah, I went crazy.
Pretty cool. That's pretty interesting.
Did he make it to Tom Bombadil, or did he not make it to Tom Bombadil?
No, they only did the first chapter in the demo, so it was just who did we have? It was Pippin, Gandalf, Bilbo, and Frodo.
Interesting.
Like the second chapter was going to add in Mary and Sam and I don't know who else, but they at least pointed those out.
Nice.
But that game had like 80 copies at the start of each day, and they were gone in like 20 minutes.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. If you like doing demos, it's really good. I know next year it's going to be November. The week before Thanksgiving, or American Thanksgiving, I should say. And yeah, come out. It's a great time. I've heard people say it's like little Gen Con. So if you like Gen Con but think it's too many people, there's always PAX.
Wait, 30,000 is little.
Compared to
How
Gen Con,
big's Gen?
yes.
How big is Gen Con?
PAX you can still walk around most of the days from what I like comparatively, and not be running into other people. Gen Con you can't do that. You will always be bumping shoulders from what I'm told. And yeah, Gen Con's in the largest convention hall in the US, I think. I
Oh,
think is where it
okay.
is. But I still don't know what the number is. I'll have to look that up. Well, yeah. But yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, I guess, well, you'll do that. Nick, I know that you just played at a Florida Man tournament that had
Mhm.
a ton
Yep.
of Florida men. And
19.
19. Well,
Mm-hmm.
wait, is that everybody then? There was 19? Yeah, 19 people. All from
19
Florida,
people. Yeah. Yep.
Um,
including new JJ now. Because now JJ is a part of Florida.
or LJ.
LJ, sorry,
LJ. I was so
my bad,
confused. I
my
was
bad.
like,
Yeah.
JJ. I was like, did I not meet that
N-
JJ?
no, yeah,
But yeah,
LJ, my bad.
Did
LJ is now
LJ.
part of
Yeah.
Florida.
Yeah. LJ's. Yeah. He's been down here for good 3 months, I think. 3, 4 months, maybe. Maybe more. I
Okay.
don't know. I've seen him at a few events. So. Um.
or Nick, did you want to guess how many people were at Gen Con this
Oh,
year?
sure. I'm gonna guess 50,000.
What about you, Paul?
I'm gonna go with 65.
Both of you are short. It's 70,000.
Oh my word.
Oh,
So again, little Gen Con over here in Philly. Little 30,000 people.
not even half.
Wow.
Okay. Jeez.
All right. Well, I know I won't be going next year, Gen Con.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Oh my word. Um,
Next
that's
up, your
so many
tournament.
people. Yeah, that,
That's
so
just too
many
many.
people. Yeah, yeah. It gets to the point where it's like, how are you breathing there? Oh my word. Um, wow, 70,000. Whew. Better have some air scrubbers in there.
Hmm.
Um, wow. It's in Indianapolis.
Yep.
Wow, it's impressive. So yeah, we had 19 people. Good mixture of people in the top 8 as well. All 5 Rebel players did make top 8, which is kind of funny, because that hadn't been happening recently. So the balance update clearly helped. I was like a sleeper cell, because obviously sleeper cell's done quite a bit. But yeah, I think if you look at the results of the tournament, we had Rebels were top 3. Then we had Separatists 4. 5th was Gar. 6th was Empire, which was actually Austin Miller. And then Jordan was 7th, and I was 8th. So yeah, it was a good mixture. All top 8 had the 4 main factions. Nobody played Shadow Collective, um, which I'm
Sad.
working on and building my stuff. But I think people are just excited to see what happens with them, and are kind of waiting to see what they do with them. 'Cause that's kind of where I am as well. But yeah, it was a good tournament. I ran the list that Graham was mentioning earlier with one tweak, and so it was Han improvised orders up close and personal. He had the E-gear on him as well, just in case for difficult terrain. Then I had Op Luke, burst of speed, force push, mind trick into the fray, and then I had Bad Batch with Omega. I had some fleet troopers. I had 2 fleet troopers, and then rebel troopers. Those were all naked. I didn't put anything on them. And I had 2 sleeper cells just with the astromech. I would have liked to have up close personal, like a lot of people do, but I just didn't have the points. Then I put pathfinders with Bistan, duck and cover, and their config. And then I had a naked bus and a bus with the impact gun. I was just kind of using those buses as like line of sight blockers, and also just like heavy pieces of armor that I could stick somewhere and hopefully not get shot off the board, so I could score things. And And I did actually get to do the bus trick where you park it in between two objectives and score both a couple times. That was fun, which is always neat. Uh, so my first game I played, the guy who came in third, and that was James. He was running 16 activations of rebels. He had Leia, rebel officer. Then he had a bunch of vets and Mark IIs, and he had sleeper cell and some ATRTs. I think he had 2 ATRTs. Yeah, he had 2 ATRTs. That game, I think it's just the classic against high activation. It was my first time playing against high activation, like out activated by more than like 2 or 3. Because he out activated me by 5. And I just didn't have enough time to chew through it, because we only got to the middle of round 3. So I just didn't have the time because I needed Op Luke to do more. I did have an unfortunate roll with that one. On Son of Skywalker, I needed to kill 4 sleeper cell models. Luke rolled his first attack, 1 crit, 6 blanks. Then I rolled the second one, 1 surge, 6 blanks. And that would have allowed me to at least get 1 more point and send it to kill points, in that turn, which wouldn't have done it, I don't think, ultimately. But if we'd been able to get more rounds, obviously Luke was cleaning up that side because it was Leia and like some vets were on the other side of my bus. So Luke was definitely going to be able to take out Leia eventually. And yeah, so it was kind of a tough thing. I did make a mistake with my fleets. I ran them in too quickly and they died. I think if I'd held them back behind the bus, they could have had more impact later on that side. So that was something that I thought of. I was like, well, I could have done better there, because the fleets would have been able to tie them or win me some more points. So that was that. On the other side, it was just an absolute dog pile of rebels, and Han and Bad Batch were kind of dealing with that over there. My Pathfinders went crazy. I've never seen them do it, but they tanked 8 or 9 shots,
Dang.
and they didn't die. Yeah, they had just the unit leader left, but they tanked 8 or 9 shots. No dodges even. It was straight rolls and cover. And
And I guess
then
Danger
Han,
Sense was helping.
Danger Sense helped a lot. I had duck and cover on them, so I was able to build up pretty quick. They didn't do much, but they did eat a lot of shots, so that was good. I was shooting with the bus on the other side too. The bus was over there. If I had it to do again, I think I probably would have brought the bus around a little bit more to be able to contest the middle and block off the middle from his people a little more. That was the bus with the gun. And then Han actually got shot by sleeper cell. 10 wounds. Well, not 10 wounds, but 10 hits for coming in. And rolled cover. Obviously, take the 1 off for low profile. Then you get the extra 1 from your roll. And then I dodged 2 because he had already shot. And then I rolled and I got 3 blocks, I think it was. Yeah, because 2, then 2. Yeah, so 6. Got 2 blocks. Rolled 3 blocks in a cert. So 2 blocks in a surge, and then I re-rolled Uncanny Luck and got 5 out of 6. So he took 1 wound from 10 hits.
All
It was
right.
amazing.
Especially with white
And then
saves.
and then Hunter couldn't throw his knife to save his life. And so Han had to finish off somebody, and it was interesting. It ended up going to like 5-4 because I had managed to stop him from scoring recon because I hid my lone sleeper cell behind my bus, so he didn't have line of sight to 2 units within range 2. That was the only reason it wasn't like 5-3, because we only got to round 3, and I needed like round 4 or 5 for sure to actually pull it off. It was shifting. So yeah, but so that game was it was a fun game, and yeah, it did make me think like, because I felt like when I didn't play as much as I normally would have in a game, so I came home and crunched some numbers, and I realized like, oh, I had like 33% less activations than him, so I probably had like 33% less time in the game, and I think now time is more important because we score throughout the whole game. Like before, you could say, oh, it doesn't really matter because I can move in at the end of the game, we score, I eliminate one of your guys, it's all fine, right? But like now it really matters because we score as we go. So less time is not a good thing to have. So I did think that was kind of interesting. So it kind of made me rethink some of the positions, because before I was kind of neutral on chess clocks, and I'm like, yeah, I think I'm a fan. Just to make sure when you show up like in a competitive event, both people get the same amount of time to play. Because I mean, you're both showing up to play, so like, and playing isn't just watching someone else play; it's actually playing. So I think it'd be cool if we had like guaranteed equal time to play. I think that'd be a neat thing to do. And obviously, like the higher activations it gets, the worse it gets for people not getting to play a lot. So I do think that was kind
Yeah,
of interesting thing. Yeah.
I think it would be helpful to have chess clocks because then
Mhm.
it's like, hey, bring
Yeah.
as many activations as you want. That you
Right.
still only
Yeah.
have an hour and a half to play your
Right.
stuff, and I
Yeah.
think that would be super ideal because it would. It I
Yep.
feel like they're trying to balance high activation with like low activation by doing the pass token or the pass pool, but it still
Pass.
doesn't make up for the time.
Yeah. And pass hurts because you pass your turn, and then a lot of times it gets to the point where you're just trying to rush to hit later rounds. And so like if you're passing, it's just delaying getting to the later rounds, and then you don't get there. So I think the pass is great, but I think chess clocks. I'm a fan now. So that was an interesting game. It kind of changed my perspective on some things. It was my first time up against something like that, so it was a good learning experience, and it was a fun game. Got to do some cool things, and I did shoot his sleeper cell into one of his units and delete it. So it's fun, op Luke stuff. It was good. It was a fun game. And then my second game was
Just
against.
Well,
a question for this one.
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
I'm guessing he used Rider Azadi on turn one and had a sleeper cell in there.
Yep. Yep.
I, I was like, that seems so weird. Why, like, the bus is so fast? And it's like, oh, that's why.
Yeah. Yeah. He did do that. He brought out his sleeper cell really far with Azadi. My sleeper cell basically wiped his down to 3 men, and then they just went and hid the rest of the game. Basically, his just went and hid. So I
yeah,
did
that
think
was
that
one of
was
the
kind of an interesting play.
that
Yeah.
was one of the things I was going to ask is how did the rider Azadi feel kind of like on your end? Because I know that it increases your speed by one.
Mhm. Yeah, he
I think.
never recovered it, so he just used it once and then didn't use it again. Um, but it was interesting to see a bus move out that far, obviously. If I'd had more impact, I might have actually focused the bus more. I think I got it down to up to 7 wounds by the end of turn 3. But if it was had more impact, I think I probably would have hit it more than I did, because I had my bus shooting it, and then I had my Pathfinder shooting an ATRT that was over there. But I think like I could have probably had my Pathfinder shoot the bus instead. Maybe wound it, take it out. Might have been good. Um,
And then I was
but
going to
yeah, the bus
ask.
just kind of sat there.
I was going to ask how your. I'm assuming you put both sleeper cells in your bus as well.
I didn't actually, because I
Okay.
wanted the scout. So I stuck my fleets in the buses. Um, and I misplayed the fleets in that game, 100%. But I think it's actually pretty good if you don't misplay them, like I didn't later, because they can, charge in, tie up a point, stuff like that. Um, Whereas sleeper cell, I wanted them to be safe and then come out and hit something, because I didn't want to, lose them by having them sit out on the field, because you never know what an opponent's is gonna do. They might swing out somehow or something. So
Right. Okay.
because the bus has to be perfectly flush in order to actually block line of sight, and a lot of the times the bus would be like slightly cocked or something, like because the place where it needed to be would be like there'd be like a little box or something, and so it'd be kind of hard, I think, for a lot of the tables I was on for sleeper cell to be like fully protected by the bus. So
Okay.
hmm so I put the fleets in there. Um, and then I moved them too far, and that's what the misplay was on the right side, where Luke was. They should have just sat behind the bus and waited for him to bring his things out, and then gone to tie some stuff up. So Yeah.
Okay, that's cool to know.
So that was the misplay over there. Yeah. Yep, that was the misplay over on that side. But yeah, it was a good game. He played everything pretty well. It's, just being able to swarm everything with shifting on a 3-round game, it was rough. And Austin actually lost to that list as well. So,
Oh wow.
yeah,
Okay.
that was his only loss. So we both lost to the same guy. But Austin had a better track record before because that was my first game. And then my second game was Clint. Is that what he's listed as? I forget what he's listed as in here. Clint. Okay, yeah, Clint Chambers. We always have a great time. We had a great, fantastic game. It was a lot of fun. He was running Vader Dues in IRG, and we played Recover, so that was fun. There's a nice landing pad in the middle, so my fleets kind of went and hid behind that, and then charged into his dewback that we'd shot with Sleeper Cell, and so that was a really fun game. His dewback lived through a lot of punches of those little fleets, and then what was on the far left? Oh, Sleeper Cell and Boba Fett kind of had a big standoff for a while, and then Boba Fett finished him off with the flamethrower. But I'd been able to score and park my bus kind of next to them by that time, so I didn't lose the contesting of that point, so it was fine. And then Han and Bad Batch sat in the middle behind the landing pad and just kept popping out and shooting things. So yeah, it's such a good combination. Han and Bad Batch. Han feels amazing right now. He went from people basically never playing him to just you have to play him because he's so good. Light cover, I actually never saw somebody get a light cover save against Han all day, which was kind of odd because typically somebody gets at least 1 or 2, but no.
I
And
feel like Graham kind of knows a little bit how it is to get only light cover saves throughout his whole army.
Yeah. That was the joke the whole weekend too. Was hey, look, I get a redo on my saves.
yeah. Yep. I've been seeing that too with the cover. It's I roll my white dice twice and still die. Yeah. But yeah, so Han and Bad Batch sat in the middle, held that really well. Omega let me contest from behind line of sight blocking again. One of his home ones, so he didn't have to actually move out there. So yeah, that's such a good sneaky thing that she can do. And then Luke had a big standoff with his dad on the far right side, and his dewback came in and wasted one of my sleeper cells on the far right. So took some wounds, but just absolutely wasted him. And then the dewback came back to help Vader, and then I played I'm a Jedi, so then Vader and the dewback couldn't attack Luke. And yeah, so it was a fun game. We had a great time. Just fantastic opponent and lots of fun. So yeah, it was a great game. One of my favorite plays that I had was
Uh-oh, I think the audio cut for you.
all right, can you hear me again?
Yep,
Yes.
there you go.
Okay. Yeah, my headset just turned itself off for some reson.
It was getting to
Yeah,
a
one of
good
my
part and
favorite plays.
everything.
Yeah, it's suspense. Build the suspense. So his Vader and his IRG were in base contact with each other, and you can't charge things into something else with you serve your master well anymore, which is kind of a sad change because it used to be really fun, charging arcs into Anakin, and then Anakin takes a wound and then an arc dies, and it was great. But you can't do that anymore. So I said, okay, call the judge, and the judge was I said, hey, can I attack Vader with a melee attack since they're in base contact? And he was like, yep. Ran in there, and the IRG just smacked Vader with their little staffs, and it was fun. I think they did 1 or 2 wounds, but it was still fun. Like it was a fun play. So, and then Luke finished off the IRG with Son of Skywalker the next turn. So
Alright.
yeah.
I got a funny one for you for
Hmm.
next time. Do it's you serve lets you control them?
Yeah.
So you serve something into Jedi, they both take wounds because of deflect.
Oh yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
haha, everyone's
Yeah.
dying.
Yeah. I think it would have been better if they weren't in base contact because you could do the deflect wound, which is great. I was gonna maybe shoot with my sleeper cell, but I decided not to because I didn't want to take the deflect on Vader. Because I can also just have sleeper cell shoot as well, which I probably like. I thought about it after. I was like, I probably should have just shot into the IRG with sleeper cell, and then had Luke charge something else. Um, but it was a fun play. I enjoyed it, so we got a good laugh out of it, and it was a good game. So, um, which I sometimes do that. I'll be like, oh, this seems really fun, and I'll try it and see how it goes and stuff. At that point, I knew I wasn't gonna win the tournament too because I had lost my first game. So I was just trying to place as good as I can and have a good time. So yeah, that was the second game. The dewbacks are pretty scary with flamers, I will say. They're always a horrifying approach where they come
Yeah, you
charging
got to be
in with
careful with those.
new ways to motivate them. 3 moves. Ooh, that's not fun to see coming down the table. But yeah, it was fun. And then I don't think there's much more to say about that game. I think we got to round 4. So yeah, it was a really fun game. Vader and Luke both lived.
How was Boba impactful at all in the game?
Yeah, actually, he managed to stave off a lot of shots. He held some points for Clint. He finished off a sleeper cell, got some kill points. I think he contested that point as well, maybe. So yeah, Boba did a lot actually. Was finishing off a lot of things that would run and try to contest stuff. So he didn't claim the bounty on Han, but that was because I timed it so that he had to either put Boba or Vader down before Han came out. Yeah.
That makes sense.
And he chose Boba obviously because you want your Force user down last. So
Right.
so I just put Han in the middle and Boba was on a side because he needed him over there. So yeah, but Boba he didn't feel bad or anything. He felt pretty good, especially with the flamethrower. He had double flamethrower because he had the command card and the gear one, so he got to do it twice, and he did do it twice, and it was nasty. Wiped a rebel trooper and a sleeper cell with that. So yeah, so Boba did do a lot.
Okay,
Basically
yeah, because
soloed aside. Yeah.
I was wondering if he was actually kind of worth it still, because he's still pretty expensive for only like a 5 dice pool, or I
Hmm.
mean, it's sharpshooter 2, critical 1, but I guess if you bring the flames, it's actually much more worth it for him.
Yeah, and he wasn't bringing him into like melee or anything to use the flame. It was like range 1, just so you could keep the pierce on it as well, because that's a good pool. Red and black, yeah. Uh,
Oh, yeah.
especially into white dice. Into red dice, not so much. Um, but yeah, so it was a fun game. Uh, the buses, one got ioned all game by snows, so it was just kind of sitting there until the snows were gone. And then the other bus was sitting there shooting dewbacks and other things as it got the chance. So yeah,
Nice. Yeah,
so
I guess
it
that
was a good
impact
game.
gun, because I
Hmm.
was wondering if if it was worth it to bring the impact gun over maybe a few other upgrades, but I guess with as much armor as is out there now, I feel like that quad laser's actually pretty worth it.
Oh yeah, yeah. The ion was really good against me specifically, and it made me want to finish those snows because I was not wanting my armor to be, suppressed basically with the ion, um, or panicked because it can be either one. um, so yeah, so I was definitely focusing down the snows. Whereas, if they had just regular guys, I don't think I would have even been worried about them. If it had been like 5 white, no, I wouldn't have cared. Whereas the impact gun made it like, okay, I have to deal with that. Yeah.
Nice.
The third game was against clones. It was Dakota. He was running Rex, Anakin, really naked Anakin. He had like reflexes and burst on him. No push, which I was happy to see, because Op Luke likes to do things to force users don't have force push the way I build them. But yeah, and then he had like 3 arcs, I think. No, 4 arcs. He had the 4 arcs. 3 were commanders, 1 was captain, and then he had 3 of the infantry. 2 were naked, and 1 had the RPS. And then obviously the 2 ATRTs that he had. And Dakota's started coming to our tournaments, and he's a great guy. I think this is his 3rd or 4th. So he's kind of one of the newer Florida men. But yeah, he did really well. Great guy. He brought like these really cool sleeper cell, like alternate 3D prints for the prize pool, and I won that in a raffle. So it was kind of neat because I got to play him after I'd won those. So it was a neat game, and unfortunately, his ATRTs both died round 1. So he
What?
moved. Yeah, he moved 1 up. My Pathfinders came out and hit it. They did a infiltrate shoot move behind line of sight at range 3. They did 2 wounds to it, which I think he blocked. They had done like something crazy, like they rolled really well, but the armor ate it. So they got 2. So they got a hit, a crit, and there were like 2 more hits. So there were 3 hits. There was a surge and a crit. Yeah, that was it. And so then with impact, we impacted 1 up to a crit, and then there was critical now on Biston. So then it went to 3 crits, and then he ate the rest with armor. And so then when he rolled 2 blanks and took 2 wounds, which was kind of the story of that game for him. He just couldn't really roll good blocks, unfortunately. And so then the sleeper cell came out, and they shot the ATRT, and I rolled 10 out of the 12. Yeah, I rolled 10 out of the 12. And obviously we ate it down to 8 from the armor. And then oh no, he dodged 1 too, I think. Or did he dodge the previous shot? What? Here was a dodge in there somewhere. Actually, no, there were 2 dodges. Yeah, there were 2 dodges. Which was crazy because the double dodge ATRT going down round 1. I didn't expect that. But then the sleeper cell finished it off with, I don't remember how many wounds it was, but it was more than enough. And that was really sad to see, because that's just a bad dice roll ultimately, I think, on his part, because I think it was like a little less than half again. And then the next one came out, and I hit that with sleeper cell, and they did 4 wounds. And then my bus came out, did another 1 wound, and then the fleets came out and rolled 1 singular crit, and he blanked it. It's like, oh
Oh,
gosh.
wow.
Right after he had said, "Oh, my ATRT's safe this round," and then they rolled the crit, and I was like, oh boy. So yeah, that was really tough. It was bad dice, and I think from there it was just trying to play catch up for him, because he had lost two units already, and he had kind of committed to the one side. He only had 2 arcs and Anakin, and I had a sleeper cell, Luke, Pathfinders over there, and a bus that could have flexed over there. And then in the middle, he had his core and 1 arc trooper squad. So he had 2 core there and an arc. And then on the far side, he actually had that pretty well locked up, but not really, because he wasn't able to chew through my bus that was over there. So yeah, he had his other core Rex and an arc over there as well. So they just couldn't get through, and it was shifting. So it was a rough game. Because then Bad Batch came out, knocked the ARC troopers down to 3 guys. Han came out, knocked him down to 1. And then the core got hit by, I forget what it was. It was something. No, they didn't get hit that round. They got hit a different round. And then the fleets on the other side I kept safe until they could run into, I think it was the other core that he had over there. I ran them into them later on. Because then round 2 hit, I played You Serve Your Master Well, because there were some arcs that I could probably have shoot Anakin. But he did a really good job. He didn't give me the chance. He played around Luke really well. But the unfortunate thing is like Anakin was back behind a wall and couldn't get involved soon enough. And so it just kind of became okay, I'll shoot everything else since Anakin's not here. And yeah, it got rough for the clones, because Bad Batch hitting, I think that was the only knife throw that Hunter hit, was killing the arc all day. He killed the arc, and then he shot the core, and then Han finished off models as he does, and my rebel troopers were just up there kind of helping secure, and yeah. And so then on the other side, he did eventually kill the bus by the time we were done. We hit round 5. And he had his Rex over there that was still alive, and I think his core was still alive. And then we didn't really finish round 5 because we just kind of talked it through. So yeah, it was a good game. Fantastic opponent. I do think it was a tale of bad dice, though, ultimately, for him. So
Okay.
because I would have expected to see some more. Impervious did nothing for him all game. Which, like, granted, Pierce 2 with Han, it is tough, but like, you'd expect to see at least one where he takes only 1. You know what I mean? But yeah.
I mean, how did he kind of avoid Luke with the You Serve Your Master Well? Did he just? I mean, obviously it's trying to stay out of a certain range.
Yeah, he played the ranges really well. He didn't let his arcs get too close to Luke, and then when they did, there was nothing really for them to shoot. He had made sure everything else was kind of out of range of them, and because the idea was to shoot Anakin, obviously, with the You Serve Your Master Well. But yeah, he played around it and made it so that really the only thing I could have shot was in melee, because that got into melee, and so yeah, it was good plan. Because otherwise Luke could have had a different arc unit shoot at something else or something, but everything went into melee, and because I was trying to save him for last, because he was kind of back in a safe spot, and I thought, well, I'll just keep Luke back and let my other stuff go to town. And then Anakin came out round 3, and then Luke jumped into him with Son of Skywalker after throwing him off the point, because he finished off my sleeper cell, and then I threw him off the point, and then Son of Skywalkered him the second round, which ended up getting Luke down to 1 HP because Anakin had swung into him with his second attack after finishing off sleeper cell in the round 2, and then I got Anakin down to 1 wound, and then Anakin finished Luke, and then what shot Anakin? Oh, the Pathfinder shot Anakin and finished him off after that. So yeah. But yeah, but by that time his arcs were already either gone or in melee. So he'd done a good job playing the range to stop me from being able to shoot like his other core or anything with them. So
I was gonna ask
cool play.
how like the Anakin with almost no upgrades really kind of worked out for him.
Hmm. Well, let's just say when Luke is free to throw Anakin off a point, panic arc, and then move into Anakin and stop him from getting to finish off something that he really needs to finish off. It's not a good day for Anakin. Um, so yeah, I wouldn't say it worked out too well. I mean, Force Reflexes is good on Anakin, but like not having Saber Throw also hurt him because like not being able to trigger Tempted um, when stuff's dying because Luke threw you off and you're standing in the middle of nowhere, that's not really fun either. So yeah, I think
Yeah.
Anakin definitely needs a few more things. So
Okay. Well, that's good to
um,
know. I feel like
yeah.
that's definitely true.
hmm Rex did work. I mean,
Okay.
he brought everything on the board and um, rolled some crits into the bus. Rex was saving out for him too, which was Rex was the only one that was like actually rolling blocks. So um, that was good to see that at least somebody was rolling blocks for him. Yeah, it was just tough. I mean, I even told him during the game, I'm like, man, your dice just are not rolling blocks for you. So yeah, it was tough for him. But yeah, he was a real champ. He's a great opponent. So it was a great game. Really enjoyed it. Look forward to playing weekend. So
Nice. Yeah, I know with a whole bunch of Florida guys that it's usually pretty creative lists or pretty interesting lists. I know that uh, they're all pretty talented at trying a bunch of random stuff, so it's pretty cool to kind of hear what was going on, especially the fact that we're seeing a whole bunch of rebels in Florida take over. It's almost kind of like everyone's now trying to play rebels and see what they can do with it here.
headset did it again. Um, sorry, I missed quite a bit of that. What were you saying?
Mostly that rebels are making a huge comeback here in Florida,
Yeah.
and people are really making a hodgepodge of different stuff in a list here. And Florida does a pretty interesting job of creating some you know random lists. I feel like.
hmm Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Rebels definitely made a big comeback in this tournament. I think Sleeper Cell has done them wonders. I do think the game feels the most balanced for Rebels that I've seen it in the year I've been playing. Like it feels like we have the most chance now that we've ever had. From when I've been playing. So it's really cool time to be playing the game. It's also cool to see every faction like do well. 'Cause that's something I hadn't really seen in my time with Legion. 'Cause when I started playing, it was first like Yoda Padme or like Anakin Padme as the main list, and then EXD, because that's when I started playing, right? So that's kind of when I knew. So to see the game have like a lot of list variety, and I don't think there was like any two people that had like the same list at our tournament. They were all very different. So it was really cool to see because it means like they're doing a good job at making sure different things are viable and stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's
So
really
yeah,
cool to
I did
see.
think it was fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it's well, I know that the tournaments in are there any other tournaments in Florida before like LVO and before or any other big tournaments up kind of like Northeast coming up at all?
So I think there's one more like the week before LVO, like January 11th, and that's gonna be in like a non-rated like fun tournament. And then there's LVO obviously, and then I'm running a tournament on the Space Coast the week after.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
yeah, at my local shop. So that'll be fun.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of people registered yet, but last time we had a really good turnout. Our shop can fit, I think, what is it, 10 people, and we had 10 last time, so we're hoping to kind of get the same. Oh, no, it's 12. 12, you can fit 12 in there. So yeah.
That's awesome.
hmm
Yeah, no, there's another one up north. I can never remember what it is, but I know Boston has a or Everwinter. That's it. I think that should be coming up soon. I just don't know when exactly. I'll have to. I don't know. That might have actually just happened. Never mind. um, yeah, I think other than that, it's really just small stuff. It's some places get snow. Nah, not me. not this far south yet. Except I think we did like at 2 in the morning for one day. That was it.
Nice.
Yeah, Florida's never seeing snow.
I hope not. That'd be really weird.
We saw snow one year, but that was it. And it didn't stick, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, North Florida saw it like once at some point, but it was nothing. But yeah, that was a cool kind of recap of the tournaments and kind of seeing what is at tournaments. I think that was one of the biggest things that I wanted to make sure that we show in this video is if anyone is planning on going to tournaments, expect to see just something completely random, maybe not that you're kind of used to, especially like at a grand tournament kind of deal. You're looking at a whole bunch of armor, which it seems to be kind of almost expected now with the amount of armor that's out there. And so I think we're going to have to wind up preparing for that. And Rebels. I feel like kind of comparing these two different tournaments, we're going to see a bunch of new stuff popping up. And I'm excited to kind of see where the game goes. I know like Rebels finally is getting somewhere. It's felt like they've been down for a while. And it's nice to see that Sleeper Cell has made them a lot more viable again, especially with the POI stuff and Bad Batch also going with that. And yeah,
Yeah. I would like to say, like, too, I think thematically, I'm so happy with Sleeper Cell and where it puts Rebels because, like, Rebels weren't the biggest army. They didn't have the most people, but like what they were is really efficient guerrilla fighters that used really good tactics. And so like the fact that Sleeper Cell is a unit that you have to use tactically and keep them near, the points of interest, and they come out quick and they hit hard, and then they stick around because they, do their thing around the objectives. It's so thematic. It's so cool. I just think it's a really cool unit that really fits the theme, and I'm really hoping they do more stuff like it for Rebels, because it just fits what you want to see from Rebels. It really does.
yeah, no, definitely. Well, that was a great talk, guys. I know that we've hit almost an hour and a half, so I think we will kind of start to wrap it up here. But any final thoughts on maybe like advice on tournaments or advice on if or anything coming up that you guys are kind of trying to close out with?
Keep playing Yoda. Yoda's not dead.
I don't know. That's we'll see. We will see.
I
That was
think
one JJ and I were talking about that at PAX. It's like we were both thinking, it's like, man, everyone keeps talking down Yoda right now. We should have brought Yoda.
he brought Yoda to our tournament. JJ did. Um, he thinks he needs push, is what he said, and yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Probably. He wasn't sure yet, but I think so. We were talking. I was like, I think you need push on an expensive force user, because otherwise you can just be shut down with what you want to do. It's kind of like a
Yeah.
protection fee, and it also lets you mess with their units, and that's such a powerful thing.
Yeah, I did alter that list that I've played with you guys before.
Mm,
Now Yoda does have push, so
nice.
no more mind trick, unfortunately. I love my mind trick.
Yeah, well, Yoda can dump that force suppression with that, which is really good.
Yeah.
My poor
I...
rebel troopers got panicked so many times.
yes.
Oh, that was something Clint did that I forgot to mention. In the Empire, he did the Krennic thing against rebels, where he did the Annihilation Looms. It took me 3 rounds to get over that with my troopers. So if you're playing rebels or like Empire and you have Krennic, definitely do it. Because if you have Compel and they don't, it's brutal.
Oh
That
yeah.
would be one piece of advice, yeah.
Yeah, because you didn't really have good suppression medication, right?
No, I don't. I don't have Leia, I don't have anything. I don't have Inspire. I used to play the 2-pip on the buses where you could give the buses Inspire, but I just took push recently for flexibility.
Yeah, because you don't have. I mean, I think probably rightly so. You don't have Bad Batches 3 pip to even give Omega Inspire one.
Yeah, yeah, I didn't take it because I took Change of Plans instead. Because Change of Plans is
It's so
amazing.
good.
Like I used it every game. The first game I threw back Leia's Bombard. Second game I threw back Implacable. Third game I threw back what's that Indomitable 501st card that people play around one?
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
The one that gives Indomitable.
The 3-pip, I think. Yeah, it's a 3-pip.
Yeah, yeah, I threw that back because I figured it was never gonna get played after round one. And I didn't want him to mitigate suppression, so yeah, it was kind of Change of Plans is such a good card. Yeah, and I didn't want to give up I'm a Jedi with Luke, so I took Change of Plans over the Bad Batch card.
Okay.
I do think if you're playing Rex Bad Batch, you should take the 3-pip because you can on turn 1 you could do Scout 2 and then 2 Speed 3 moves and shoot, so you'd have Tactical 2, so you'd have 6 aims plus your cash. So I do think you should take that if you're doing Rex Bad Batch because, I mean, why pass up 6 aims?
With precise
And
and
being able to
pierce.
shoot anything. Yeah, with able to shoot
Yeah.
anything on the board, basically. I mean, what's two speed 3s and a speed 2?
I feel
6
like you're
inches
almost
plus, like,
sacrificing them, I think, because you're just getting them too
yeah,
close into the middle.
true. But you could even do like scout, move back with some shots, and you still have 4 aims. So it's like, yeah, I mean, I think
Yeah.
that'd be more than enough. Because you get pierce 2 on that shot too, right? Or is it precise 2? I
Precise.
forget what crosshair does. Precise
Yeah.
2. Okay.
Yeah.
Still great. I don't play
Yeah.
Republic, so I
But
always ignored the crosshair part on the card.
yeah. But that's awesome, guys. I appreciate the time and the input of the tournament. It's really nice to hear, and we'll have to get you guys on again to kind of talk about the new stuff coming out soon. I know that the ARF trippers are going to be probably announced coming up at some point, and yeah. But
By this one, I just want that core. I
yeah,
just want a second core unit.
yeah. Besides pikes, that would actually be pretty nice.
Not a real core unit.
Yes.
They don't exist.
Oh yeah, because you guys have 1 core right now in Republic.
Mhm.
That's right.
Yeah, versatility and all it's cracked up to be.
Yep. And no DC 15 anymore.
We have no range 4 that is not cumbersome for our core.
Ooh. And cumbersome is so bad now.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because round 1 it just ruins everything. You wanted to get a shot on that tank? Too bad.
I wish they would at least make Scout not trigger cumbersome.
I
So why
know.
not? There's no reason it can't. You can't do that now. It generates tokens.
Yeah.
Right.
Or like deploy it move at least doesn't cause it or something, yeah.
Yep.
Like your
Mm-hmm.
first move doesn't count for cumbersome or something like that. But yeah, that would be really nice. Cause I would love that for Cassian too, like cause yeah, he has troubles now being a commander ever.
Yep.
Mm.
That or yeah, you're never gonna see the HH12 HRUs again.
Nope. Take the RT and the DLT instead for the range
Ooh.
4. Yep.
All right.
Ooh.
Well, thanks, guys. And we'll just close it out here. Thanks a
Okay.
lot for joining in.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Good time.
All right. Peace out, everybody.
Later.